All right, here we go again. So I think one of the confusions is that even under the Ulmer plan, I was articulating um, benchmarks, governmental benchmarks, which means this: the Palestinian Authority, Fatah, was not going to just walk in there and saying, "We're Fatah, we represent the Palestinians, we are the Palestinian Authority, therefore we are the government of the Palestinians." It required benchmarks to be met. It was hopeful enthusiasm that they would meet these benchmarks, governmental benchmarks, to say that they were a legitimate government with legitimate interests. Right. But you can't get to the point of helping them attain. And again, it might be a requirement higher than other governments, but a reason for that. Right? We may have had fledgling governments, we just let them go, and that's that. And over time, they made mistakes and they improved and whatever it was. But again, because of the sensitive situation, the idea was that Fatah, the Palestinian Authority, needed to meet certain governmental and organizational benchmarks before they would be considered a legitimate government that Israel could say, hey, you're a co-equal in this process of government. Right. So I think, people that didn't want it to happen were kind of given it this idea that they were just going to be carte blanche, allowed to be a government and allowed to take control of everything. Correct, sir. Even now, and it's not to ding the Palestinian Authority. It's to say, okay, now you start, and now we will realize your capabilities, and we'll hone your capabilities so that we don't have problems in the future. Right. We don't want to start a major war between Palestinians and Israel, with the Palestinian Authority being one army and Israel being the other army. Right? So there was a whole process required to show many aspects of government, to include, judicial jurisprudence and, a desire to confine offenders. Even though Israel sometimes lets and again, back then, I don't think the settlers were as powerful. Right. And they wouldn't, they didn't get off the hook as much. But again, over time, that did happen. So again, we don't want that to happen on the Palestinian side. We don't want that to happen on the Israeli side. We hold people accountable. I'm not telling you to destroy people for infractions, but the idea was we were going to start a process that may take many years, but that government was going to prove itself, and as in the end, everybody agrees that each side has the right to exist. So I think it was a disservice to destroy that process. And again, Bush, Condoleezza Rice, and Cheney, they were all in it also. I think that's where we are again, to a certain degree. And again, Bibi can be part of that. It doesn't mean that just because Ulmer came up with an idea or I came up with an idea, I tried to get Bibi to embrace it. Right. I don't know what he saw online or anybody saw online of me, because they blocked me at times. Right. Well, I really don't think the future allows Hamas to exist. Right. And again, I believe they're all marked right now. I believe their parade identified them, and I believe they're limited in their potential to survive. So I think the best thing we can do, or they could do, and everybody could do, is the Hamas goes by the wayside. If they're honestly peaceful people, there'll be governmental positions that they could attain within the Palestinian Authority. Right. Again, a lot of people were brainwashed young, and a lot of the people you see in Hamas right now look very young. But I think a lot of the more senior leadership has been removed or in hiding because they're a target. My idea, again, I think I said it out in 2016 or 17 or something like that. I said that was that Fatah would move with IDF into the Gaza and take control militarily. So again, we hopeful enthusiasm. We move Fatah forward, and you could have trainers and UN could send assistance just to get their government to the point where it's strong enough to lead and stand in the face of any terror opposition. Again, Israel's also there to assist. So you see how that works. Once we develop that relationship, Israel can come in and help Fatah, and Fatah can help Israel. So it's not always Israel against a Palestinian, or a Palestinian against an Israeli. Right there. Thank you. Well, it doesn't have to be an end date, but there has to be progression. Again, I think if Palestinians feel that they're being given autonomy and their government is being respected and being helped along to understand what the government process is in its entirety, right, then I think there's not going to be so much concern that there be a two-state so fast. Right? Well, because they'll feel like they have some autonomy. Again, that's the key. Without autonomy, they feel like they're slaved and they're second-class citizen, and they need a two-state solution. And I'm not saying it should be or shouldn't be, because I think when we hinge the decisions on these ultimatums, that's where it fails. So we need to find some middle ground where people can feel comfortable for a while, and then we can move into these, not necessarily ultimatums, but discussions.